Okay, I guess I'm live. Let's do this. I just want to go over something I seen tonight. I was watching, and we're gonna play this video. This is the New Socialist out of New York, and let's watch our video. And I got some things I want to say about it.
According to an industry trade publication, 73% of cannabis executives in Colorado and Washington are male, 81% are white. In the state of Massachusetts, just 3.1% of the marijuana businesses in the state were owned by minorities, and just 2.2% were owned by women. Is this industry representative of the communities that have historically bared the greatest brunt of injustice based on the prohibition of marijuana?
Absolutely not.
It doesn't look like any of the people who are reaping the profits of this are the people who were directly impacted.
That's correct.
So my question is really about, are we compounding the racial wealth gap right now based on who is getting the first mover advantage?
Okay, so it seems by her view on this that she feels like, you know, there's a big inequality. I hear this all the time from the Democrats about this big inequality, you know, that there's more white people in business, there's more white people doing this, there's more white people doing that. And my question is, what if it has nothing to do with race? What if it's, you know, I mean, I get it, we got to look at like the color. We're gonna look at the color. But when we consider that in the whole world population, that the world consists of 77%, 76% of white Caucasian people. That's the population of the world is like 76, almost 77%. So, you know, that leaves like 24.1% that are considered dark-skinned black. Okay, so when you have that kind of a difference in a ratio of numbers, there's no way you're going to have an equality of balance. And then even like in America, it's the same thing. In America, the population is only like 22% black and 88% or 78% white, Caucasian. So when you have that big of a gap, there's going to be an immense number more of those who are the greater majority than there are the lesser minority. I mean, it's just common sense. This woman's supposed to have a degree in economics. I'm just saying, you know, she's supposed to have a degree in economics. And I mean, I can look at these statistics real quick and evaluate them real quick. And I just want to go over and look at like some things here. Like here's like a thing that I was looking at. This is the Black Party affiliation. So you look at like the difference in party affiliations. And you know, you can see that the majority of them are Democrat. Very small percentage of them, you know, this little section here, if you can see the little mouse moving, that represents the percentage that are from like independent leaning Republican to Republican. And this would be the independent, and then light Democrat, medium Democrat, and heavy Democrat. And when we look at business and black-owned businesses in America, you know, it gets to be pretty apparent. Like I have some things I got about with her here. If we look at the U.S. consensus here in International Trade Administration Bureau, we can see that, you know, there's 27.9 million small businesses in America with 18,500 firms with employees of 500 or more. So 27 million businesses in America is what we're getting as an estimate. Out of those businesses, we have to look and see there's an estimated 11 million are minority-owned businesses in operation nationwide in America. So we have an estimated here where, if vital statistics are correct, we have 27.9 million businesses. And out of those, we have 11 million minority businesses. So when you do the ratio, if you were to say by the percentage of population of what is Caucasian white people compared to the amount of people in the population, what percentage, it's almost the same percentage as what would be the percentage of black people. There is no real difference. This is not about race, it's about numbers. The Democrats always want to make everything a racial issue, a dividing issue. When we can just look at the statistical facts of just numbers in population. I mean, like if you were to say, for instance, let's just say hypothetically, there's only 100,000 people in the world and there's only 100,000 businesses, right? Let's say everybody has a business, 100,000 people, 100,000 businesses. By the percentage differences, there can only be like 24% of those businesses owned by black, because they only make up 24% of the entire population. So, you know, so what do you do when you have, you know, 24,000 businesses out of 100? Now every black person has a business, and then there's 76,000 businesses left. Well, of course, they're going to be filled by the remainder of that population, which is the Caucasian. That's what makes the difference. It's not that there's a racial inequality or that, you know, nobody wants to, you know, see them succeed. You know, and a matter of fact, one thing like too, when you'll see I have up, because I mentioned about the Democratic Republican demographics, there's a reason for that, because OC or whatever, that socialist up there in New York seems to not be paying attention to the actual facts and statistics right now. But anyway, I'm just hoping everybody understands what I'm saying here. You got a population in the world, or just in the United States. In the world, this is the same. It's kind of geographically the same. You can round number it to about 75% Caucasian in America, 25% is of black or brown skinned people. And the same applies pretty much close to the world. Okay, in the world, there's about 22% of black or brown skinned people that would be considered, I guess, African American. You know, they're just dark skinned people. The other thing that makes sense with this too is me. I like to dig into facts and try, and this is something I've known about because I've looked at this way many times before, and just my own curiosity. Most people would find it like weird when you look and you realize, say about total, you know, roundabout in all with what you would call dark skin to really dark skinned people, but from dark skin to what we can consider, you know, outside a line of Caucasian, makes up about 27% of the world's population. So that leaves about 33% of the world population that's considered Caucasian. Now, when you look at the facts to why is a person Caucasian and why is a person black, it's related to environment. People are black and dark because they live in tropic zone areas where the dark skin adapts to absorb the heat so they don't burn up, okay? And the majority of the world, when we look at the world's geographics, okay, around 70, actually 69.2% of the world is considered to be moderate zone, like moderate climate zone. And only like 29.7% of the world is considered to be in the tropic zone. So when you look at even that statistics of fact of geographics, the geography of the earth and its tropic zones to where the weather affects to what color we are, the percentage of population is almost equal to that of the geographic population of black people to that of the geological of the tropic zones within the world. So it makes sense. It makes sense. And when you look, it seems that there's a balance of this that happens among the nation as well. In America, we have the majority of the black population here tends to head toward the south and is in the tropic area zone, and they make up roughly around, you know, the same ratio going from what expands out from, like you have Melanos and a little bit darker than Caucasian, all the way to, you know, full black African American, if they want to say black African ancestry of Americans who are very dark. They make up about 27%. So the ratios are pretty much right across the board by population. So I mean, it's like, I just wish people would understand that this is really not a racial issue. The reason there's such a big divide to why there's you know, millions more white Caucasian businesses is because, well, there's literally, you know, millions and millions more white Caucasian people. They make up the majority of the population here. Okay, in America, we're not really a race. We're all Americans, okay? It doesn't really matter what color we are. We're Americans. It doesn't matter. Okay, we're one people. But if we're going to distinguish on a thing, because the Democrats seem to always want to, you know, pick this color thing, you know, where it's black or white, you know, and find a racial issue of it and try to find an underlying racial issue. When in truth, this person in New York, this new senator, the socialist up there, is supposed to have a degree. You know, she must have a degree from the Wizard of Oz again, that thing I mentioned about education. She got her paper brain. Because you would think a person who's an economist and somebody in government right now would be taking a look at these vital statistics to try and figure out what me. I mean, I'm just a regular average guy. And when I seen this video, I thought, you know, and I mean, I can't lie though. I have done a lot of study and things like this in my life I'm fascinated with things. So I do know quite a bit about it on my own self. But I mean, I didn't go to college to be an economist. And, you know, I'm not in government. And I mean, the average American, I'm sure as well, is probably going to find when they consider this, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I just don't understand why these people have to always look for an underlying issue to cause divide and bring it to a racial issue of where it has to be something of like somebody's oppressing somebody. When you look at the facts of the climate of the world and the population of the world by that of the differentials between us in color, it makes sense. It makes sense. When you realize that, like, if we round this number off and say, you know, 75% of the world is non-tropic, 25% is tropic. We have 25% of people who